Hello and welcome to today's discussion. My name is Kim Ward. I am the founder and the CEO of Katie's Mission. And as you know, we are an army of angels with boots on the ground as a nonprofit organization helping end the stigma around mental health, doing our best to provide wraparound services for suicide prevention. It's an honor to be able to have another enlightening conversation with a very, very dear friend of mine, Cheryl Cobbin. Hello.
Thanks for having me here today. I'm so excited to be talking to you today.
It's my pleasure. And, part of what I do is having difficult or tough conversations that many people either stray from because there still is a stigma or a little bit of a fear. And August, I don't know if this is the exact term, but this is what I called it. But August is International Make a Will Month. And you and I work together in some, a tight capacity. And we were having this conversation the other day, and I thought, I have to bring this conversation, your skill, your expertise out to the Katie's Mission audience and beyond, because this is a piece, just a glimpse of what you do. So if you don't mind, I would love to have you introduce yourself and just tell us a little bit about what you do. I know there's a lot of layers to it.
Thank you, Kim. Well, I'm Cheryl with Cheryl Cobbin Business Solutions. And honestly, what I do is I like to support the small business owner. And that could be a variety of different avenues. It could be something like helping them with legal formations and making sure their payroll set up properly, helping them with bookkeeping, helping them with some of the support services, HR benefits. But on the individual side, I feel the importance of having access to having things like your wills prepared, the importance of making sure that you're properly protected from identity fraud these days with the world of data breach every 39 seconds. So I help people with a lot of different services, if you will, but I really dial down to what's going on with you and your needs and how can I best help support you. So even though I provide a lot of subscription-based services, I don't personally have the pleasure of doing any of them, which is nice.
I love that. And I think, this day and age where business is changing, right? I think the digital marketer is becoming more and more of a primary focus for people. And it's common for us to see individuals kind of push their agenda out to people. And what I love about you is that you truly kind of sit with either, whether it's an individual, whether it's a small business, and listen to their needs and listen to their concerns. And then you're able to really kind of make that decision and distinction of what's the best possible solution for what you're going through right now. So we provide wraparound services for people who need us. And what that looks like are coaching scholarships, life coaching scholarships for people who may be suffering from anxiety, depression, maybe some suicidal thoughts. Maybe they're not to that point yet. We know that suicide is preventable, and we do our best job every day to make sure we're a big part of that. But life happens, and so does death, whether it's suicide or not. Having the opportunity to plan and prepare and say your goodbyes, the point is loss sucks no matter how it happens. But not everybody is as prepared as they should be or need to be. So from your perspective, what are some of the ramifications of maybe not being as prepared with a will or whatever else you provide in general?
Great question, Kim. And I am sorry for the way that you lost two of your loved ones. We have a start date. We all know what that was, the day we were born. But none of us know what that end date is like. It's inevitable. Say two things we can't avoid are taxes and death. I don't know about the taxes piece, but I definitely know that tomorrow's not promised. And I think a lot of us just push things off because we think, oh, there's time. There's plenty of time. Interestingly enough, we've found that the two most Googled items actually were wills and the living wills, which is your healthcare directives. But sadly enough, we're still sitting at 6 out of 10 households that don't have those documents prepared. And that, I think, is attributable to the fact that while people appreciate that it's probably important, they don't know what to do, how to do that, how to handle that. Maybe they have questions and they're not really sure how to address them, or more importantly, probably due to the cost. I think it's important to maybe talk about maybe what estate planning and wills are, and maybe some of the myths or misnomers, so that people are better informed about kind of what is it that we're actually talking about. The first thing I want to address is that estate planning is really about your loved ones and preparing them. It has nothing to do with you. It's kind of like your last love letter. It's about what your wishes are. I think it's kind of important to explain, well, what exactly is an estate? Because some people tell me, well, I don't have anything. And I have to ask them, well, it's any of the assets that you've accumulated. We all have possessions. Some of us have cars, motorcycles, boats, all kinds of different toys. Sometimes we have a home. We have bank accounts. We have furniture. We have furnishings. Some of us even have a business. And so those are all the different types of assets that we have, if you will, accumulated during our lifetime. And when you're no longer here, where do they go? What happens to them? Well, let me tell you, they go through a process called probate. And if you have your affairs put into documentation through a will or estate, that probate process is much easier and it costs a lot less money. But if you haven't taken the time to be prepared, get yourself prepared, then your loved ones are not only dealing with the anger and the tension and the frustration and the grieving of you passing, but now they have no idea what to do. And don't worry, the state comes in and they're more than happy to take a piece of what you have just off the top, and then they make it a really long process to go through that, because the court then appoints someone to decide what's going to happen to the disposition of your assets. They also decide who's going to be the guardian of your children and caretaker of your pets. So by not putting something in place, Kim, what you're really doing is just allowing life to happen. And you, right now, while you're living, you actually have the ability to control the disposition of those different things. So I think that's really important, Kim.
It's incredible. And you kind of answered some of my next questions already. That's how good you are at your job. I love this. You're very skilled and knowledgeable. And that's the main reason I wanted to have you out here. But because, the second half of Katie's mission and our nonprofit budget goes towards providing funeral assistance, financial assistance for the families who maybe didn't think things were going to happen to them, right? Or that this would never happen to them. And it happens many more times than I care to discuss. And so looking at this from an individual standpoint, I think I said to you the other day, jokingly, even though it wasn't a joke, we don't necessarily plan to come into this life, as far as I know, but we do have to plan responsibly to exit this life and really protect those that we care for, that we love, for the reasons that you just stated. It's a very, very ugly process. I know that I've been through it, and it's unnecessary stress for people, right?
Sometimes those of us just don't always really think about the what other impacts we're going to have. And so, when you're looking at estate planning, it's not only managing your affairs during your lifetime, but it's also making sure that, when that time does come, you've made sure who's going to be the executor, which is a term for who gets to actually look over the distribution of those assets, appointing a guardian for your children, or if you don't have children, a caretaker of your pets. It helps minimize some of those problems that are in your passing. I think it's also important to, if you have a business, what's the exit strategy? Who in the business would take over? It's important to have what they call an exit document for your business. A power of attorney, who gets to make those decisions, as well as who's going to be the power of attorney making medical decisions. Maybe it's something where you're driving down the road and you get into an accident and now you can't make some of those medical decisions. So it's really important to make sure that, you're addressing these things while you're living. And, at some point, as we age, there are going to be times where we really can't make decisions as well as we used to. And so just, again, having a plan in place helps your loved ones to better address what you would like your life to be like. So it's really kind of important. If you don't have an estate, if you do not have some sort of estate planning in place, it's called an intestate, which means you don't have a will. And again, as I mentioned, I don't think any of us want a third party, i.e. a court, stepping in and making decisions for our families and loved ones. And so it's really important. People don't think about when we get life insurance, we designate a beneficiary, but we don't always take that to the next level about with our estate and making sure that we have systems in place. I think there are so many questions about what to do with what you have and what some of your choices are, to be able to have the advice of an attorney to be able to walk you through and really address the best way to answer some of those questions. But again, it's something that needs to be updated. And so it's important to update those documents and have them properly notarized and doing what you're doing to make sure that they are basically a valid document. Because think about the fact that you might have gone through all the effort of putting together these documents, complete the last couple of steps, which made all of that work all for naught.
Wow. Just thank you for bringing this level of awareness and willing to have this conversation publicly with me, because there's, like I said, I think I told you the other day, this is not a scare tactic. This is a solution tactic. And I feel like I say that all the time, but this is a part of our responsibility. It's responsible planning and working to end the stigma around what we do. And so my point is, we really truly never know. We really don't. I never expected to lose my sister at the age of 22. She did not have a will. Her stuff went through probate. And at the time, my family wasn't aware, but she had gotten married about a month before she passed. And we didn't know office. He called me and said, there's a person here claiming to be your sister's spouse. He can't answer any questions about her. It's raising some red flags with me. And we, as the family, were expecting to go through this probate process. But because he was her legal spouse, he got to, and I mean this wholeheartedly, drain her bank account, take her stuff, and walk away with everything that was the last of my sister. 7 years later, my mom died to suicide. She didn't have a will, but she did share a home with her boyfriend, and the boyfriend's family tried to get involved and tried to buy me and my siblings out of that part of the house. And we had signed it over to him. Before he could file those forms, he passed away unexpectedly. He died in his sleep, and the family tried to, really backdoor us. And this is where things get really convoluted. Arguments happen. This is where people generally, when we get together as family, this is coming in, the fighting, the bickering, and then there's a fork in the road, and all of the ripple effects just from a lack of preparedness. That's why I wanted to have this conversation. So I'm sure that there's someone listening right now who's like, wow, Cheryl, you've really done a great job with kind of identifying those reasons why we should have a will. But I know there's still someone that has those objections. Is this a time-consuming process? Is this an expensive process? Can you kind of help just address some of those objections so that we can help more people through your service?
Everyone needs a will because everyone has personal stuff. Definitely, what we do is we start people with a questionnaire. We give them a basis to take a look at kind of what are some of the things that are important to you. And I should mention that, in terms of a couple, a husband and a wife should each do their own. And it's their own wishes, and it comes to their personal wishes. And some people go into extremely great detail. Like, this is what I want to be dressed in. This is the kind of music I want played. If it's a celebration, or if it's, however you want that end to be for you. And that is your personal wish. And again, we're helping you put together those documents. We're helping you also put together what those medical wishes are. Should you be unable to make those decisions for yourself anymore? If you should be on life support forever, or if it's just a period of time, what does that look like? Also a good time to mention, For those of us that are a little bit healthier, would we like to be an organ donor and, let's help save someone else's life? Again, that's a personal decision, but again, that would be something that would be documented, and people usually register for that, so it's known in a database. So we make it fairly straightforward in putting together those two documents, as well as your powers of attorney. Who gets to make those decisions? Is it the same person that's making the medical decision as well as making financial decisions, or is it a different party? So again, you get to designate who you feel is best suited to be able to make those decisions on your behalf. So again, we put together that will packet for you, if you will. And then for a trust, we provide that also, but that's a 25% discount, because your trust and my trust might be very different. We have different types of businesses, we have different things that are going on in our life. And so it allows you, basically with our program, it's a subscription-based opportunity to be able to have access not only for something like this, but also for various other legal situations that might arise. But what we do with our service is just being able to allow you to live life on your own terms. When situations arise, to be able to, have that advice and consultation, and just being able to understand exactly what your position is, and quite frankly, what the next steps are. And that's what we really want to know in life, right? It can be pretty costly, which is usually one of the reasons why people don't go through this process. So we try to make it more affordable and a little bit more user-friendly.
It's awesome. And we're grateful. We're grateful to have, the partnership with you and those services available. I have kept you long enough. I really, truly thank you for your time in bringing this level of conversation, because it's so needed. Please tell us how we can connect with you. How can our folks find you?
I have a link that I'd like to share, and hopefully it's something you could put into the dialogue, but it's https://
Yep.
The word in, the next word is phone. It's all one word. So infone.co/DC for my initials, Cheryl Cobbin. So that makes it really easy, and that'll take you to basically, it looks like a phone. And what it allows you to do is be able to, whatever you're searching for, just press that button and reach out to me. And I'm accessible by phone, email, and the different services that I help my clients with. And love to be able to help anyone answer any additional questions. And if you'd like to move forward with services, I'm there to help support you and just let you sign and dash. So I'm there to help support you and work with you through those processes as well. So thank you very much, Kim, for your time today and the opportunity to share this really important information with a few other people, because I think it's a lot of people just aren't aware of why, and the whys and the hows, and it's just kind of scary to think about.
Yeah, I think anything uncertain, right? If we're uncertain about something, it's going to raise a level of fear, and that's what we're here to kind of demolish. Like I said, it's just like ending the stigma around mental health. We need to have these conversations, and what you do and the services that you provide, it's just not an option. And I would not be a responsible nonprofit if I weren't having these level of conversations. And thank you for helping minimize the fear and helping, our audience walk through that with certainty and partnership.
Well, thank you, Kim.
All right, Cheryl Cobbin, you guys, thank you so much for being here. The link is in the chat. Thank you. Any questions, or if you are just ready to go ahead and get your planning started so you can have peace of mind. All right. Thank you so much, Cheryl. Have a great weekend. Thank you for being here, and we will talk to you guys soon.